Welcome to the video today. Today we're going to be planting. I've got a fig tree I need to plant because it's not doing good in the pot, and also we're going to try to plant a loquat. Also, it's doing too well in the plant. And we planted a fig here last year, and it didn't do well, and didn't make the wintertime, so it's dead. Of course, then you had fire ants wanting to make a nest right in the middle. Go and get the shovel. So we're going to put the stuff in here. We're going to dig up this fire ant nest. We're going to try not to get ourselves stung. See all those eggs? Now, probably the thing to do would have been to kill the fire ants first and then come in here and plant this. But I don't always do things in the right order. I'll set that right there, just making noise. And if it's bothering me, I'm sure it's bothering somebody on the internet. And we'll make a nice big hole. Now, I did bring the post hole diggers out here. I think I'm going to need them. The danger of post hole: if you dig a post hole and dig a hole like this, and you take one of those plants that are about this big around, shove that there, it fits real nice and pretty, and your man, there's ants all over there, and your little roots will just continue to grow in that circle and will never venture out, especially if you're in clay soil. So in a clay soil, you do want to make your hole a little bit bigger. A lot of people say 2 times the size. If you make it deeper than the hole that you're in, then you definitely want to make sure you plant the hole on a kind of a little hump, because it's going to fall back in a little bit, and normally you do not want that to happen. Because you get the tree too deep, especially if it gets so deep that the graft goes underground. Now here's the tricky part. Move that out of the way, son. I go a little deeper. Now, the good thing about fig tree, though, is you can plant them a little deeper and it doesn't hurt anything. They don't have a graft on them, or at least 99.9% of them don't. So if you dig a little deep, it doesn't hurt anything. If you're planting a peach tree or a citrus tree, it does. So, because what happened on your fig tree, it just produces roots on it. It doesn't really hurt the stem that much. I'm gonna let you dig that out. Dig the hole out. Because I want it to be a learning experience. A lot of times you get your hands in there and dig stuff out. Don't want to with fire ants. Now, some of y'all, they don't know what fire ants is. Call them fire ants because that's what it feels like when they sting you. They sting multiple times. You will get a blister on the bottom wherever they sting you. You'll pus up and you'll pop. Sometimes it gets infected. And they're very aggressive. They also form, okay, that might be deep. Let me do a little bit here. They'll also form aphids. They'll literally take aphids from one plant to another, so it has more eating to do. That's the deepest I'm gonna go. I'm getting some more soil. If you come here, I'll show you something. Real good soil from here, going all the way down to here, and then you change soil right here. This soil here is not really good. This soil here is your topsoil. So a lot of times you'll see that in most areas. So try not to go too deep below that. This is called a Papa John fig. It is a fig that's good for the south. And see, right here. That don't look that bad. It's not too many roots, a little bit of roots there at the bottom, but it just ain't doing good. So I don't know what the deal is. So we're gonna put it in the ground, fertilize it good. In fact, put a little bit of fertilizer in the bottom. Don't really want to do that too much. And then I'm gonna water it in. See, that's a little deep, but that's okay because it's a fig. So take this. Ooh, it's heavy. Okay, Steven, we're gonna take this dirt. We want to move real fast. You got to move your hands on. When we already got bit, see, it bite like that. That hurts. Still fast. So I can tell you. Fast as that boy's moved in a long time. It's like one of those cartoons. Let's put some back here. Okay. Now, I'll take some of this. I did water it good before we planted it. We're also probably gonna get some more rain before the week's out. A little bit of fertilizer in that. Just regular Miracle-Gro. Huh. I don't like the way it's pointed that way, but it's in there. And then I'm going to water that in. Probably 2 waterings of that. And I will show you the other thing we're going to be doing. I'm not going to do it on, it's starting to rain on us. I did buy 2 different kind of clips. Okay. One set was a thicker clip. That's this one right here. And you clip that around. This is just a regular clip, it's a little bit thinner. I did get clear, I don't like clear, but I couldn't find the other kind. And what you do with those, I've showed in the past, when you got these vines hanging down like this on your tomatoes, you go up here, take it, and try to get that thing to go back up, straight up, rather than out like that. You know, so you can thin it, put it inside, it's okay. That makes an easy way of doing that, and trying to keep all these tomatoes geared up best we can. We're going to lose this battle, I know. I thought I'd be out of the battle going up down there. It's going to be hard to do that even. That's why I have them 3 foot or 4 foot apart on rows, 3 foot this way. But they're going crazy. I'll show that. But how long's the video? 9 minutes. Let's go ahead, fill this up. Another thing I was going to do, I always forget something on these videos, and I was going to fill this. A lot of times what I do is I fill these trash cans up, so if I need water, all I got to do is fill it up. So that's very little fertilizers in these, but a little bit. And try to get as much water in there as I can. Now I don't like this the way it's balled up like this, because the water's gonna run off. Especially when you're not paying attention to what you're doing. But it was wet, the soil's kind of wet. We're supposed to get some rain. And what I'll do, I keep watering this down in here. So I make sure I get water depth to depth. I've got my 2 bags of peat moss, pine bark mulch. And the reason I'm showing this, I was gonna do it anyway, but you see my last video, you seen those big old figs that they had. Those figs ain't much older than these figs. This been in a container, I don't realize that, but it just showed me, yeah, I should be having growth at least this long on that container fig, and I'm not having it. So I was gonna try to make it grow better, put fertilizer on it, get going. I'm putting it in the ground. We're gonna see what happens. And I'll take y'all along with me. This here's the fig part that died back from last year. They did get winter damage. Try and get these figs up big enough that the winter damage is gonna kill them every year. And this one I think I'm gonna maybe make it. But I'm gonna try to keep more of the pine bark mulch around them. That really does help on figs. If your figs is struggling, not growing much, and you're on clay soils especially, I had one that just sat there for 2 or 3 years, never grew, and I put about that much pine bark 4 foot around it, and it really took off after that. So they really do like the pine bark mulch, the extra water that they get, plus the extra nutrients they get. They don't need a lot of nutrients, they need a little bit. Sometimes figs will go crazy, grow really big, and won't produce because they go vegetative because you got too much nitrogen on them. Haven't had that problem. I am a sandier soil, we get a lot of rainfall. It does leach that nitrogen out pretty quickly, so I think that's what's been hurting me last year on these, not getting them up and growing like they should have. We also was kind of in a drought last year, but I think I'm going to get these up growing, doing good, and maybe then I can show you my figs that's got a whole bunch of figs on them. But anyway, the beans are starting to take off, growing right here. Tomatoes are taking off, and they're doing really well. I need to do a video on those. I think I was supposed to do that Sunday, I didn't do it. But anyway, things are growing good. It rained all day yesterday. We was in Houston all day yesterday. Rained all day, I guess it rained here too. And it's starting to rain here again. So that tends to be the way we get in a drought, and then everything will start raining and it won't stop. That's really bad for your peaches and your plums because this causes a lot of fungus and stuff growing. Since I was out of town, I didn't get any fungicide put down. So things happen sometimes. I can tell you what you're supposed to do. I can't always do it just because of time restraints. So if you don't always get things done, don't beat yourself up. You got life. Life happens. Sometimes you can't get done what you want to get done. We're not professional people. We're not doing this for a living. We're not getting paid for it. So I will show over here just a little bit since we're here. These beans that went up ahead and done good, they're all right. Got 2, 3 here. So the lima bean deal did not work. The cantaloupes are growing up. They got weeds in between them. I did get the wheel hoe and clean out the weeds in the middle pretty good. And I'll get the wheel hoe and just rip all that out. And right now the squash is doing great. It's looking really nice. So if everything continues to go like they go, we'll be all right. You do need to try to get your squash in early because vine borers are coming. I've about decided that the only thing you can really do for squash vine borer, I know you can do a lot of stuff. You can put BT in the stem and do other stuff that kind of works, but the best thing is just get them in early. Try to beat the squash vine borer. And then once you start seeing the signs of squash vine borer, pull them out, kill them. Don't let that squash vine borer reproduce. Till up. Tilling's not all bad, people. If you till up those where you're at, where you have the squash vine borer, you'll kill that squash vine borer. You kill some other insects too, but you know, you gotta till sometimes. You don't want to till all the time. I think I've tilled this once this year. The rest of the time I use the wheel hoe, which does a very shallow tillage. It's not even counted as tillage according to the no-till people. The no-dig people are kind of funny. They dig, they say they just don't call it that. But and that's a good idea. You know, we depended on tillers way too much in the past, but I think we swung the other way now where we don't ever want to till. And sometimes you till if you want to make good crops. A lot of people say, well, I want to do it the way nature does it, but you know, there's nature. It doesn't have any beans in it. It doesn't have squash growing wild. Corn is totally domesticated. There's no wild corn growing anywhere. We're trying to make nature better, okay? We're trying to make nature more productive. And you can't fight against nature, but you can go with nature to make things better. But anyway, that's my little soapbox. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.